Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fish and shrimp keepers of all ages, welcome to the live stream, guys. I hope you can hear me. I hope this goes well. A few of you that were here last evening know that I went live on accident, so welcome to you back again. We're going to talk about running a fish room, go over some of the myths. Big shout out to everyone in the chat. Just let me know if you can hear me, please. I made some notes, but we'll do some Q&A afterwards. I think I went a little crazy on some of the notes. I have 3 sheets. So the plan is to run from 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. Just kind of hang out and relax and talk some fish. I don't know about you guys, but I could use a nice relaxing fish evening. Had a bit of a crazy day. We'll get into that also. I see everybody chatting. I hope you guys can hear me. Anybody? But yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free. Okay, cool, can hear you. Thank you, Michael. Oh, thank you guys. I made some of you mods. You guys, doesn't mean you have to work or whatever. It just means that I trust you. I trust you guys to, to monitor the chat. I'm sure there's some people that I forgot that I can mod after the stream. Just trying to work things out here, so we'll see how it goes. I'll get into some of the prepared questions, and then we can go. Jay, I'm a notes guy, man. I need my notes. I overthink and overanalyze things. So we're gonna do some true and false questions. I got some graphics, some cheesy graphics, so we'll see how that works. Some of the questions, I'll just kind of run through some of the questions so you know what we're gonna get into. Does a fish room cost a lot of money up front? Do you need to be a super handy person in order to run a fish room? Does it cost a lot of money to upkeep and the different, upkeep expenses? And I'm going to get into exactly what I pay per month. I kind of crunched the numbers, so I'll share that with you guys. As far as time, how much time is it going to take up? And then can you become rich or are you going to go broke? So we'll kind of get into all those things. I'm going to try to take a look at the chat as much as I can, but I apologize if I don't see you message or chat at me. I apologize. I'll try to keep up. I only have the one monitor. So the first thing is, does a fish room cost a lot of money up front? And I'm gonna say true. When you talk about tanks and your equipment and your fish, you're gonna be spending a good amount of money up front. I crunched the numbers and I have about $3,000, $3,500 worth of tanks spread across 36 tanks. And that's mostly getting deals and used stuff. Now that includes tanks, equipment. And if you guys follow me, you know that I try to find the best deals, and it's still a few $1,000s for what I would call a small to medium size garage fish room. Whereas I have 36 tanks in my garage that total about 900 to 1,000 gallons. So I'm gonna say that, yeah, you're gonna spend quite a bit of money up front, but I recommend you kind of piece it together. If you kind of slowly add on to it and find the best deals, then you will definitely, save some money. Obviously, dollar per gallon sale, everybody knows about that. But if you just go, hey, listen, I want 50 tanks tomorrow, and you go look on Craigslist or buy them all dollar per gallon sale, you're gonna spend some money. The average cost of my tanks, just the tanks, is a lot less than a dollar per gallon. So you can definitely, if you have patience, you can definitely reduce those costs. Cheating back here to my list. Yeah, start with a plan. You definitely want to have a plan, though. You don't have to essentially have a plan and fulfill that plan all in one day or 1 week, but it is a good idea if you have a big end goal. So even if you can't go out and get all 36 tanks in a weekend, plan for 30 tanks or whatever it may be, kind of plan it out and then slowly piece it together. That's how I did it. That's not how you have to do it, but I feel as if that is definitely going to save you some money in the long run, as opposed to just buying all the tanks, even if you were at $1 per gallon sale. I'm I'm gonna quick go to the chat real quick. Aquatic Ma says, I had 22 tanks and the total cost was around $1,800 worth of equipment plus tanks. All were new. Very expensive when you add everything together. Yeah, it can add up. Not all the tanks have like a canopy and stuff like this one behind me. Most of the tanks, you know, are just a tank, maybe some lights, and we'll get into some more things. Hey, what's up, everyone in the chat? I see all you guys rolling in. Appreciate you guys for joining me and bearing with me here on the first live stream. I think the last time I was live was with Ron, aka Friday Fish Facts. I did go live myself on my channel, I think like a year and a half ago, and it was like choppy. Actually, I want to pause real quick and thank everybody who's watching live and on the replay. It's because of you guys that I can live stream right now. Because my channel has grown a little bit and I've been able to make a little bit of money from it, I've invested in bigger or faster internet. So my upload speeds were terrible. I literally couldn't go live even if I wanted to. So last month I upgraded my internet, and that's thanks to you guys. Same thing. Hope the video quality is decent. I just bought this webcam today. Once again, thank you for, you know, that's from you guys for supporting the channel and the money that I've been able to make from the AdSense from the channel. So I appreciate it. Do you need to be a handy person in the fish to have a fish room? No, because I'm not a handy guy. You definitely don't need to be handy. If you guys are familiar with my fish room, the main rack system is built of 2x4s and concrete blocks, and that is something I got from Corey at Aquarium Co-op, and it was super easy. I don't do any handy projects. I'm not a handy guy. I don't own a lot of tools, but I run a fish room. And I think that even if you're not a handy person, running a fish room is fairly easy in regards to that. You can pick up things, obviously use YouTube as a resource like I did. I don't really know anything. I just learn and kind of go with it. Let's see here. And no one method is going to be perfect for you. So even when you do go out there and you find resources and channels and different ways to build a rack system or build an air loop system, which we'll get into on saving costs and ongoing maintenance costs. I know I didn't spend a ton of time on the upfront costs, but I really want to delve into the ongoing costs. So I'm going to crunch big time numbers in that. But yeah, no one method is going to be the best for you. I probably spend way too much time doing research and looking at different methods to build a stand, to build a rack system, and in my experience, it was worth it. Definitely tweak things to fit my own garage, and you probably will have to do the same for your garage or your basement, wherever you're at. Let's see here. Patience will be key in planning, especially if you're not handy. Clearly, if you're a handy person, then you can build some cool, really nice looking stands. You guys out there that build those stands with the notches in them and stuff like that, I'd love to have a stand like that one day. I'm not handy enough to do it. I'm sure I could do it. But the bottom line is, if you think you need to be like a super handy person to run a fish room, it is certainly not true. Big shout out, Ron, with the super chat. That's actually the first super chat I've ever gotten because it's the first time I've gone live. So big thank you, Ron. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was hoping you liked the clown shirt. This is actually the Loach Gang shirt that I made. Let me see if my tall butt. So I have these. I'll show you guys later where you can get them. Bunch of shirts. I had some more that they didn't come in yet, but thank you, Ron. Costs a lot of money to upkeep. So let's talk about the upkeep. This is going to be the meat and potatoes, I think, right here. Not sure how long I'll run before I open it up to all the Q&As. I have no idea. But costs a lot of money to upkeep. And this might be controversial, but I'm going to say false. And it depends. Ongoing costs can be minimized. The main sources of expenses, and I'm going to jump into each of them and how you can minimize each of them and how I minimize each of them. But the main sources of your ongoing expenses are going to be electricity, water, fish, like buying fish, like actual, stocking, what have you, fish food, and then any kind of like potentially upkeep, maintenance, something breaks, what have you, that kind of thing. Let's talk about water first. I mentioned at the beginning of the live stream that I had a kind of a interesting day and evening, and I could use a nice kind of relaxing live stream. And that's because I came home to a bunch of water all over the floor this evening. And it wasn't a fish tank. It was not a fish tank. I thought it was the toilet, but it was actually my 30-year-old house plumbing leaking in the walls. So the water bill is going to be a little higher this month, but not because of the fish tanks, because there was a busted pipe. So currently in my house, I was planning on doing water changes after the live stream. That is not going to happen because the water is currently off in my house, because if it's on, there's going to be more water on the floor. But rest assured, the plumber is coming tomorrow morning. And actually, that's what I do for a living. I do insurance and I do a lot of property water claims, so I knew how to mitigate it. Big shout out to Madfish Diva Shar. Thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Ryan, for being such a kind and thoughtful friend. I appreciate that. I hope the snails are doing well. I hope the mystery snails are doing well for you. Okay. Where were we? Water. Okay, so water, when it comes to the fish room, actually is a negligible expense. My entire water bill for the whole house runs usually $20. The entire water bill, okay? Now, granted, there's only 2 people in the house full time, so I don't have a huge household, but the water bill usually ranges from $18, maybe it pushes $30 in the summer when I have the sprinkler system on, but the water bill is very negligible, and I'm gonna break it down in kind of gallons for you, because cost is one thing. Maybe the cost down here in Florida for gallons per water is dirt cheap, but let's take it back to the 900 or so gallons of water I currently have both here in the house and in the fish cave. So if we take the 900 gallons of water and we say I do 50% of water changes on every tank every week, which is not the case. On my grow out tanks I do, but let's just try to be conservative and say that it's gonna cost us a ton, and say that 50% water changes every week. That means 450 gallons of water roughly, okay, every week. So let's even round it up to 500, and that would be times 4 every month. You're looking at 2,000 gallons of water, okay? So 2,000 gallons of water, you can figure out what that would be in your area. I know for me, that's not that much. So when I'm talking about a fish room of my size, the water is actually not that big of an expense. You have no water bills in Norway? What? I'm just reading this in the chat. There's no water bills. Is the water so fresh it comes straight from the glaciers there or something? That's amazing. So water, it's an expense for sure, but I feel as if that, at least for me, it's not a huge expense. And like I said, that could be because of the price of water down here. But just know that in a fish room my size, once again, 36 fish tanks, roughly 900 gallons. So average size fish tank is 25 gallons or so. They range from 10 gallons to 125 gallons. And it's not that bad. Like I said, it's an expense, but it's not a ton. Let's talk about electricity. Now, electricity is definitely the big one. This is going to be the one that probably costs the most, unless you're just buying a ton of new fish every month, or you're feeding your fish gold nuggets or something. Not gold nugget. Well, if you fed your fish gold nugget plegos, that would get expensive too. But electricity, the biggest thing you can do to cut down on electricity is going to be a linear air piston pump. Run your fish room off of water or off of air. And I'm sure you've heard this before. One of the first things I knew I needed to invest in was a linear air piston pump. And I got a LPH 45, which is 45 watts from Gemco a little over a year ago, and it's good for 40 plus tanks. So as you can see, 45 watts, compare that to one hang-on back filter or 150 watt heater, and you can clearly see that, it's gonna save you a ton of money. Excuse me. The other thing I do is I don't put lights on tanks that don't need lights. Most of my plants or most of my tanks are planted, so they do have lights. But in some grow out tanks, I don't keep lights on them, and I also automate them. which is huge. Automating them is going to prevent you from leaving them on, which obviously runs up the bill. The other one that is commonly talked about is heating, okay? In the 36 tanks I have currently 3 heaters, okay? These are natives behind me, so they just kept at room temperature. I have a tank in the living room that has a heater, and then in the garage, 2 tanks currently have a heater because clown loaches and Lake Tanganyikan cichlids, but they really don't even need them right now, and the tanks in the garage are staying at about 80. So whether you keep your fish room in a garage, in a basement, in your house in a separate room, my advice is insulate it well, spend that little bit of money. If you're looking to have a fish room over, I'd say over 30 tanks or so, it's definitely worth it to, insulate that room and, go with heating the room. And then if you need specific heaters for certain tanks, go ahead and supplement that for fish like a clown loach that needs extra high temp. My fish don't need lights, but they do need heaters. Yeah, so it's a give and take. And obviously, if you only have a few tanks, it's not worth it yet to set up a whole fish room. But even if you have a smaller fish room, I don't know how many tanks Jay's Funky Little Fish Shack has. That place is awesome, by the way. Big shout out to Aquafunk. He's got a cool little fish room. Probably got as many tanks as me, but it's in a tight little space. But it's nice and compact, and it makes sense to kind of heat that room. As opposed to each individual tank in there, which I'm not sure if he does, but he should. You should do that. So electricity, limited lighting, insulate, heat the room. The fish, this is where I kind of draw a mental Venn diagram as opposed to spending fish. I've come to the point where I kind of draw a circle of fish I like, and then a fish that I can potentially breed and help pay back to the hobby. Let me answer this question real quick. 12 tanks, heat the room, or each individual tank? That's a tough one. If all 12 tanks are in one little room there, then you can go ahead and heat that room. If they're all spread out, then it probably makes sense to heat individual tanks. Thank you. And I totally forgot a super chat. Big shout out to Ray, the Biker Aquarius. That's a local buddy of mine. Hey man, hope you're doing well. Thank you for the super chat, man. The Venn diagram. I was talking about the fish mental Venn diagram. So a circle of fish that I can potentially, breed and make some money back, and a fish that I like. And I try to keep fish that are in the middle, because if not, I end up spending a lot of money on fish, and that's okay. But if you don't want to go broke, or you're trying to, make some money at it, which we'll get to kind of, can you make money out of the fish, the whole fish keeping for profit, that whole thing. We'll get into that. But I try to do that mental Venn diagram and stick in the middle there. Although I definitely buy some fish that I can't breed. But as long as you enjoy them, that's the big thing. Let's talk about fish food. And this one's cool because tomorrow's video is going to be on a live food culture. And I think it gets talked about, but not a lot. And live fish foods, guys, culturing your own fish foods. A lot of my local fish friends do it. I think it really helps significantly reduce the cost of your fish food expense. I typically like to buy and sell used tanks, which I'll get into. I flip tanks sometimes, and I keep some of the fish food. If it's old and cruddy, I'm not going to risk it, but you'd be surprised how many unopened bags of fish food you can get. Also, another big shout out to Ray. Always keep your eye out for deals. I got about 30 packets of these for I think less than $1 each. Maybe not the most, the best food ever. You're saying, okay, Tetra shrimp wafers, Ryan, that's a crappy food. It's not my main food. I feed rapashi and green beans and good quality foods also. I'm not hating on this. The fish eat them, and it's got decent ingredients. So I mix it up. But if you can find deals and culture your live foods, not only even if you don't want to breed fish, no one really talks about culturing live foods from a saving money aspect, I don't think. And it depends on the food, depends how many tanks you have. But it's a great way to keep your fish happy and healthy and save money, because you buy that live food culture, and if you can keep it cranking, it doesn't cost you any money. Usually the cost to feed a live food culture is very, very, very cheap. I see Chewy's talk about Daphnia Cultures. Yep, Daphnia Cultures are great. I have one of those in a 55-gallon tank. Tomorrow's video is going to be about grindle worms, which are one of my favorite because you can kind of feed them to smaller fish, but even like full-grown tetras. The native tank behind me loves them, and even like newborn African cichlids, are good for grindle worms. Like larger fish that are newborns will accept grindle worms. Let's take this false thing off there. So fish food, like I said, deals and live food cultures. I can't stress that enough. I think live food, a lot of people sleep on live food when it comes to saving money long term. Before we get into, can you become rich, retire, and, live in a mansion off of your fish room? One more question, and is the fish room gonna take up a lot of time? And the answer is true. That is 100% true. It's definitely a time suck. I enjoy it. The day that I don't enjoy it, will be the day that I don't do it, but it takes up a lot of time. Even though I do automate the fish room, a lot of it, and actually want to jump to a question from Instagram, Stats Aquatics. I'm not sure if he can be here this evening, but he had shot me a question on Instagram kind of related to this topic. And I promised, hopefully if he's not here, he'll be watching it on the replay. Stats Aquatic says, my question, does automating stuff like feeding, water changes, lighting help or lower, does it help get you more, does it help get things done more quicker, or does it increase the cost? Like, is it too expensive up front? And it's a great question. And I'm gonna take it in parts. So automating feeding, automating water changes, and automating the lighting. Let's start with the lighting. 100% recommend automating lighting. I don't care if you're running a fish room or just one tank, automate your light. That's my opinion. How many times I've left the light on and it just, I was like 2 days later, I'm like, wait a second, that should be off by now. So even if you have one light for the standpoint of algae, from a standpoint of, electricity cost, it is definitely worth automating the lighting. I do it on all of my tanks. The next one is going to be automating water changes. I'm going to get to that in one quick second. My dog is barking. I'm going to just open him up real quick. I'll be right back. I apologize. Sorry about that, guys. I had them in the room and they were kind of barking. I don't know if you heard that. But automating water changes. I recommend automating water changes on the vast majority of your tanks if you can do it. I don't have all of my tanks on automated water changes, and that's kind of on purpose. The one in the living room here, it's kind of hard to do. But it's also in the garage. I don't have all my tanks on automated water changes. The rack system is automated, but I would recommend to keep some tanks not on automated water change, and that could be for a multitude of reasons. My Pleco grow out tanks, those tanks need a lot of attention. I got 40 breeders slam full of baby Plecos, and I like to kind of do manual heavy water changes on that, and I like to kind of really pay attention to those tanks. Same thing with my breeding pairs of Plecos. I keep those in tanks and I do manual water changes. I stay on top of it. For my rack system, I automate that, but I think there is something to be said about not automating some of your tanks for certain reasons. Like I said, one of them is to kind of, keep a closer eye on it. The dogs are joining now. So the last one was feeding, automating feeding. I don't automate any feeding. Not that you can't. I think having automatic feeders, whatever, like the one that Core from Aquarium Co-op released, I think it's good to have a few on hand. I have some. I don't do it all the time, simply because, once again, the fish room is in my garage, and I like that interaction. I'm still at the point where I like the interaction. If I had some facility and I was really going commercial, potentially I'd set up some more automated stuff for feeding. But right now, I feed a lot of rapashi, which you can't automate. I feed a lot of frozen foods, which you really can't automate. And I like to have that interaction with my tanks. So automate lighting, in my opinion, always. Automate water changes, for the most part, yeah, definitely. Automated feeding in very specific situations, and have some on hand and have a procedure for if you're out of town or you need that. Let's see here. Yeah, feeding. So taking up your time feeding. I feed my fish room twice a day. I actually have some baby fry right now that need attention 3, 4, 5 times a day. I'll feed them frozen Daphnia, baby brine shrimp. So it's something where if I wanted to take a vacation right now, it wouldn't happen. I just have too much going on. So a fish room is 100% true a time suck. It definitely is a time suck for sure. Cleaning your tanks, whether even if your changes or your water changes are automated, you still have to do some gravel vacuuming probably. Even if I automated my pleco tanks, I'm not a huge fan of mulm. I don't think mulm is like the enemy. I don't think it's killing my fish, but I also don't think there's a reason to kind of let it build up. So even if you're automating tanks, you still got to gravel vac some of those tanks. So I estimate that I spend upwards of 10, 12 hours a week sometimes between feeding and cleaning. It's almost a part-time job, and if I'm cleaning tanks and to flip and stuff like that, it's even more. Okay, let's talk about, can you become rich? Can you become rich, make good money? Is it worth it? Breeding for profit, etc., etc. No matter how you want to word it. Big thank you to Thomas Glazier, $15.55 just for a thumbs up. Thumbs up, Thomas. I very much appreciate that, man. Thank you. Thank you guys for hanging out here. I appreciate it. Once again, thank you for the mods. If you guys have questions, I don't know if you guys have questions, I'll get to them in just a minute here. Looks like it's 8:27. So can you become rich? This is the toughest one. I think yes, no. I think you can make some money. I think it can be worth it, but you have to do it right. You have to do it right, and you have to plan ahead. You can't just go, I'm gonna get a bunch of tanks, I'm gonna get a bunch of fish, they're gonna breed, I'm gonna get guppies, I'm gonna get plecos, and I'm gonna make money. It's not gonna happen like that, okay? And it didn't happen like that for me, and it's still not necessarily happening like that for me, but I'm gonna share with you guys, kind of what I've learned and, how, some my input. Big thank you to Brian, that's my cousin Brian. He's actually down in the Keys right now, scuba diving. I am super jealous. He's down in Key West scuba diving. I talked to him earlier today. Thanks, Bri. Appreciate it, man. Hope you have a great trip. So you need to focus on something, make connections, and have a place to offload it. That's the number one thing. Before I even get into what fish and all that stuff, you need to have a plan to offload these fish. I've talked to people, I see people locally, they have 1 million freaking beta fish, 1 million freaking African cichlids, 1 million, whatever, albino bristlenose plecos. And they're just like, where do I get rid of these? And I'm like, I don't know. That's hard because they're just not in demand and no one wants to pay you for them. They're just they're cheap. And who are you? Like, what, are they healthy? Are you a store? I mean, you're just a dude. No one, there's no outlet there. And I see that time and time again. And, that was me, and it's still me to a certain extent. But there's ways to tweak it. Another thing you want to look at is tank space. Before you get into breeding something, clearly you want to breed something that you enjoy, right? You don't want to sit there and go, okay, I know I can breed this, but I'm going to hate it. But also, if you think you want to breed African cichlids, know that that's going to take a lot more tank space than, say, shrimp or live bearers or something like that. So just know the space you're looking at when before you pick your fish, and know if you're going to be able to kind of unload it. I have 2 dogs. One keeps walking back here. The other one's afraid of these wires and I've like lighting and stuff. He's afraid to walk past he's afraid of everything, so he won't walk past it. So, obviously you want to keep something you can have success with. My number one thing in the fish room, whether it is fish or plants, is do something that you can have success with. Try something out, something that matches your water. I'm a big fan of kind of, working with what you have, okay? Not trying to work against your water and create water. I don't do the whole RO. I'm not against it. It's more power to you. But it's just easier for me right now to work with the fairly hard water I have, which is why I have, some live bearers, a lot of bristlenose plecos. Got some people want to see the dogs. If they come back close, I'll try to call them over. So, try to know if you have soft water, maybe some Apistos, something like that could, sell for you well. They breed well. And then you have to spend money to make money. This is the biggest thing to me. You have to spend money to make money. There's a reason why I have the super red bristlenose plecos and the calicos and the lemon blue-eyed. Not only do I love them, I think they're beautiful, I also know that if I want to, maybe recoup some of the money I spend every month on electricity, on fish food, and maybe pay for some more fish in the future, I need something that I can sell. And I know that breeding a brown bristlenose pleco is just as easy as a super red theoretically. So breeding a super red, which is there's a little more demand for it, makes more sense. Same thing with a strain of guppies, as opposed to breeding a mutt guppy strain. You want to go ahead and breed a more fancy strain that, maybe, is in more demand. It makes it worth your time. You're going to spend just as much time, energy, and food raising a mutt guppy as you are a, super nebula galaxy dragon face platinum, whatever it's called, Dumbleweird, Same thing with bristlenose plecos. A regular standard brown. Come here, guys. Come here. Come on. Oh, this is my oldest girl, Bryn. The young puppy. He's the one that's scared of the the lighting. She just turned 8. This is my baby girl. Good girl. But where was I? So picking your fish. So get into some fish like a pistogrammas. Hey, be nice, guys. Picking some fish like a pistogramma or something that maybe you don't see everywhere that you can actually sell. Question from Chewy: have you learned the kind of overhead it takes to run a pet shop or theorize expenses concerning revenue? Yeah, I mean overhead in terms of a pet shop. I mean, you're talking about a lease. I have friends that have commercial businesses, and typically you're talking about a 3-year lease. That's a huge commitment. Out of my house, so I don't have any extra expense. I pay my mortgage, and that's my commercial property lease essentially. I haven't crunched numbers. As a kid, one of my dreams was actually owning and running a pet store with my best friend. Kind of, not really looking to do that now. I've watched plenty of Corey's live streams where he talks about it. More power to you. I actually have a local fish friend here. They own a pet store that's fairly new, about a year and a half old. Aquascaping Supply in Orlando. If you guys are here in Orlando, definitely check out Aquascaping Supply. Say hey to Kevin and Rick. They're awesome guys. They're run by brothers. They have a lot of cool planted stuff, nano stuff, just kind of right up my alley. But I've talked to them a little bit about it. It's tough. It's running a business. I mean, any business is tough, right? Most businesses fail in the first few years, and a lot of times it's overhead, and that's why I think there's a huge advantage to staying in your garage for a while, because like I said, you can make some money, you can help pay for yourself. You're not gonna become rich, but if you make some smart decisions, you can help pay for it. So is it worth it? For me, 100% it's worth it. I think that's a decision that you would have to make, and it's up to you. And I don't know, a year from now, will it still be worth it? I kind of analyze that as I go. I just know that when I have to do my water changes, I throw some music on in the cave and I'm freaking jamming, doing my water changes, and I'm in a good mood, and it's okay. If I ever get to the point where it's like, oh God, water changes, oh God, then I'll check out something different. Daniel says, I got my pleco from there. Oh, sweet, Daniel, you're local. Hey, what's up, Jimmy? Hey, Chris, Multi-Tank Addiction. Hey, everybody, guys. I appreciate you guys joining. So that's kind of it that I have planned. I think I'm gonna do a little. Let's see if this works. Here's a little. All right, we talked about the t-shirts earlier. The Wild Fish Tanks t-shirts. I was supposed to get that in today. So this is the Loach Gang t-shirt. I made these t-shirts. They're available. You can go to wildfishtanks.com and go to Teespring from there. Or yeah, awesome. Thank you, Candy. She threw up the link in there. Very much appreciate you guys. Once again, if you got here and you saw a wrench next to your name, it just means I trust you and I appreciate you. There's plenty of people that I can throw wrenches at after the stream. I didn't get everybody. Also, if you do see a wrench, don't feel obligated to, to show up every time. My plan is to do this semi-regularly. I got plans for next week and the week after. I have topics. We'll kind of see how it goes, feel it out. I've watched plenty of live streams. I'm a big gamer. I watch a lot of Twitch. This is my first time on this side of the camera. Yeah, any questions here? I can't wait to see you next meeting so I can get my funky new shirt. Says Jay. That shirt said say pander, pander, pander. Ryan is taller than me sitting down. Yeah, I'm 6'7". I'm a big guy. I'm a big fish nerd. I had to get 2XL t-shirts, so they're a little longer for me. I had to get the 2XL T. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I get a lot of enjoyment out of running my fish room. I have a tank, speaking of my height, I have a row of tanks that's super low on the ground. I think Jay will laugh at this when Jay, and dude, you got to come check out the fish cave. If you haven't been here in like a year, man. But when Jay came over last year to do a tour, he saw I lay on the ground and there's a row that's like 6 inches off the ground. And I'll find myself out there just kind of laying on the ground of the garage floor, just zenning out, just chilling, watching the fish tanks. So I definitely very much enjoy the fish cave. Friday Fish Fact says, bucket list fish to breed. Ooh, I would eventually love to breed something more difficult. Like I know, what's his name? Preston John with the shell denti puffer. I think that's amazing. I'd love to do that one day. I think next would be the Synodontis petricola. And I know, Ron, you're a big fan of the Synodontis petricola also. So I would say in the short term, the Synodontis petricola, and long term, it would be really, really cool to breed something like the shell denti puffer. Because I know that, I think Preston, he was like the first guy to do it, or one of the first. 6'7" with Dwight Howard shoulders. The tour videos are great. Yeah, he says, yep, that was funny. Yeah. No, only of having the fish room, it's super cool. Obviously, all your friends and family think you're a weirdo, which is they knew that already. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change it. This journey, kind of having the fish room, and having it grow and learning a lot. If anything, it's made me more handy. I talked about not being a handy guy. If anything, having a fish room made me a more handy guy. It made me more patient, that's for sure. Definitely have to have a lot of patience in this hobby when you have a lot of tanks and things don't go as you like sometimes. But when things go well, it's awesome. Like I walk out and I smile on my face and look at my tanks, and it's really good. Preston, I met Preston. He keeps bugging me. Yeah. I mean, that's super cool. I'm sure a lot of people are fans. If I had tank space, I'd love to get some. If I had tank space, I'd love some Amazon puffers, some shell denti puffers. I kept P puffers, but yeah, puffers are just really cool. People are talking about the petricola. Yeah, baby petricolas. I've never seen them actually, I have seen them in person. I've been to Aquatics, who is an amazing breeder. That's another one. I'd love to breed clown loaches one day, although I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But it's great to hang out with people like Andres, who runs Aquatics, who, I've learned a lot from breeding. He's got a wealth of knowledge. So it's really cool, this community on YouTube and in general, fish nerds, the Tampa Bay Aquarium Society. A big shout out to Tampa Bay Aquarium Society. Really thankful to be a part of their organization. A wealth of knowledge. Bill Shields, a guy who just knows, probably forget more than I'll ever know. Rob93 says, lucky any more pygmy sunfish? No, no more pygmy sunfish. However, in tomorrow's video, you'll see some really cool footage of that pygmy sunfish, the female one, eating some grindle worms, because that is like her staple go-to food. I've got her on grindle worms and like chowing them down like a boss. So she's fat. I mean, I got to get a male for sure. But yeah, got to get back there. George, hey, what's up, George? He says, I missed you at Andre's Saturday. Yeah, I didn't make it out to Andre's Saturday. I didn't make it to the Tampa Bay Aquarium Society meeting either, but I am planning, if you guys are in the Ocala area, Central Florida, Ocala, this Saturday, I don't know the exact time, but look up the Friends of Florida Guppy Association or something. I don't know, but there's a cool guppy event. I think it's an annual guppy event. I've never been to it, but there's like I want to say 70-80% chance. I'm gonna go check it out. Excuse me, need some water here. This is not a gimmick. I didn't just grab a gallon of water for the stream. This is what I do. I literally walk around with gallons of water and I drink gallons of water. Big shout out to Publix. If you guys are in the South here, Florida, Publix is the best supermarket. I don't care where you're from. Publix, Pub Subs. Thumbs up for Pub Subs. If you guys haven't liked the video, like the video for Pub Subs. And a big shout out to Wawa also. I know it's not here in Florida, or it's not native to Florida, but Wawa also awesome. George says you better be at the auction next month. Yes, I'm planning to go to the meeting next month. I've made it to I think 6 out of the 8 meetings or so since I've been a member. The Tampa Bay Aquarium Society is about an hour and a half away, but I mean, it's worth it. If you guys live closer than an hour and a half away, then you have no excuses, because I'm driving an hour and a half. I know a lot of people. I think Sal, who also he's on the YouTube here. He drives. I think he drove like 2 hours. So definitely Tampa Bay Aquarium Society is worth it. I've been fighting off a bug too. Not trying to stream tonight. Oh, hope everybody's feeling well. Jimmy says, Publix and Wawa, thumbs up. Yeah, when Corey was out here, man, he found out Wawa, and he was like, I think it was chicken salad subs from Wawa. When Corey and I went collecting, he was all about them Wawa chicken salad. And then Ray says, yup, chicken tender subs from Publix. Oh, dude, if you've never had a chicken tender pub sub, you're missing out. You are missing out. But yeah, brace yourself, Wegmans. Oh, okay. See, one fish, two fish up there in upstate New York. Got to show New York love. Oh, Candy. Candy is on top of it. Friends of Florida Fancy Guppy Association on Facebook. Thank you, Candy. Candy, the freaking mod of mods. But yeah, definitely check that out. It seems like a really cool event. I hope we can pick up some few new pairs of guppies. Definitely want to expand the guppies I'm keeping right now. I have some really cool live-bearers out there in the fish cave, in the fish room, and got a pair of guppies that have bred, and want to pick up another one or two. That Wawa has no ATM fee. Oh wow, that's insane. That's sweet. I racked up last meeting. Yeah, that's a cool thing. I don't know if all fish clubs are like that, but at the end of every Tampa Bay Aquarium Society is an auction, every one. And they're usually pretty decent. I mean, I've never seen less than like 20 items, 25 items. Sometimes, they're more unique and cooler than others. Good amount of plants and fish, but definitely really, really cool. Preston is local to me, but my wallet won't allow me to get some. Yeah, they're an expensive fish, but you can thank Preston. The price should be coming down, right? I mean, that's what's really cool about that is I think they were like, weren't they $200 or $300 for a shell denti puffer? And now, I mean, hopefully the price is coming down now that, they can be captive bred a little bit, or if it's not coming down yet, it should come down soon. And we can, theoretically thank Preston for that, right? Excuse me. Just checked out your site. Pop up the t-shirts again. I'm still getting used to this live streaming stuff. I was up late last night, kind of playing around with stuff and messing around in OBS, kind of, I don't know, trying to mess with things. I was that kid in high school that like overdid his PowerPoint presentations. So I got to kind of rein it in a little bit. Don't get too crazy with the freaking special effects and pop-ups. Just checked out your site. Looking good. Get some melanistic fundulus. Chryso up there so I can place an order. Hey, Grassy Peak, man. I know he's up on Long Island. That's where I'm from. Shout out to Long Island, New York. Grassy Peak, cool little channel. He keeps some rice fish. I have the Japanese rice fish, a few different strains. So big shout out to Grassy Peak. Yeah, I'm going to update some stuff. I don't have too much on the site right now. Right now, if you go to wildfishtanks.com, there's, the plecos mainly, the super reds, the calicos, and the lemon blue eyes, which are fairly new. So that's the main thing. There's some snails and some plants up there also, and I'm going to be adding some live food cultures. I'm going to add some microworms and some grinder worms also. Publix has a great bakery. Yes, they do. One of my friends is a baker there. I used to work at Publix actually about 10 years ago. Great job, great company. Skip the glass, go straight to the jug. Yeah, man, I'm a big guy. I drink like about 1.5 gallons a day. I used to be a big soda drinker, and now I don't drink soda at all. So I just chow down the water, man. It's just, and seltzer. I'll do the seltzer every once in a while, but mainly just water. This hobby is by far the most real and inviting space on YouTube. Love the camaraderie. Yeah, I mean, I think so, Sean. It's kind of cool kind of being behind here and just kind of relaxing and enjoying it. I thought it would be kind of weird talking into a camera live, but to be honest, it feels cool. It feels like I'm with you. It feels like I'm with you. I don't know. It feels cool. I'm enjoying it. And big shout out to Corey. This webcam, not a cheap webcam, but I was picking around, figuring out what webcam I should use, and I dropped some decent coin on this webcam. But once again, if you guys missed it earlier, the reason why I'm even streaming is because of you, because of the channel's success. I've been able to make a little bit of money on the channel, so I was able to upgrade my internet, so my upload speeds are better. If you guys are content creators also, you'll know that like to upload a 10-minute video shouldn't take 4 hours, but that's literally what my upload speeds were. Like a 10-minute video would take me 3.5 to 4 hours if I was lucky. So now being able to live stream with the new internet is freaking phenomenal. And having this new webcam, I can invest in the webcam. Like I said, it's thanks to you guys, and the channel growing and you guys just watching. So I really much appreciate it. Really much appreciate you guys, hanging out with me this evening. And I'm 99% sure Candy's a robot. Yeah, right. Looks like you're having a blast. Yeah, I'm having a blast. I'm enjoying myself. I'm glad you're finally streaming. Yeah, like I said, I plan to make it a regular thing. I know I don't even know if I'm stepping on anybody's toes right now. I know it's 8:47. I believe Dan's Fish goes at 9. So we're definitely getting off for Dan. And Rob 93 next week. Rob 93 is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I don't know if anyone is streaming right now. I know Corey was doing 8 to 10, but he moved to Thursday. And I was thinking of streaming. I didn't really know what time. So I was like, I'm just going to do it and then see what happens. So yeah, next Wednesday, I'm planning on doing 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time again. The topic is going to be, Rob says, got to run. Take it easy, man. Like I said, next week will be 7 p.m. Rob, 8 p.m. me, and then I'm assuming 9 p.m. Dan's Fish again. Next week's topic is going to be, what is it going to be? Oh, it's about fish collecting. We're going to talk about wild collecting and different things like, rules and regulations, the gear, once again, just something I love about this hobby is getting out there. So we're going to be talking about, getting out there and collecting wild fish next week. And then I think the week after that, we'll talk about, deals and how to get the greatest deals on used tanks and some of the tips and tricks. Jeff Rose is going. Okay, Jeff Rose is going. All right, Jeff Rose is going. So I gotta see. I'll check with. I know Mr. B's Fishing Things. Big shout out to Mr. B's Fishing Things. He's a part of I think him and Lacey's Place they do the fish tuber notifications. So I'll get with you guys. Yeah, I'll get with you guys because I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I do enjoy doing this though, so we'll figure it out. Ono's Fish Corner says, dude, I have to fanboy for a minute. You are the reason why I have the Fish Corner. I watched your build videos and tweaked some, but thank you for. Hey, man, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad, man. I have to check out your channel. Hopefully you got some videos of your build. I'll go check it out. Definitely. So, yeah. Good night, everyone. Stream. Yeah. So next week, like I said, topic will be wild fish collecting, and then we'll probably just kind of roll into whatever. And then the same thing following week, we'll do the best deals and stuff. Let me check my notes here. I want to forget anything. Once again, just big thank you to everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Yeah, I really, really, really appreciate it. I think I covered everything on my notes. We're still going to roll here for a few more minutes. I'll be there for ALA in July. I don't know where ALA is going to be, but I need to start making some events. That's another thing. In 2020, I need to get my big butt to some more events. Aquashella, Aquatic Experience. If it's going to be in New Jersey, I'll probably hit up that because I am from Long Island, New York, so I can kind of double up and see some high school friends and some family I still have there too. So really, really excited for that. But yeah, I want to meet some of you guys. Like there's, One Fish, Two Fish, a lot of people, Don at NY Gold, One Fish, Two Fish, Mad Fish Diva. I definitely want to, meet you guys. Yeah, Don, need to get my butt to Florida. Dude, if you come, Don, you come to Florida, man, let me know, man. Let's do it. We'll go collecting. Let's go, man. I'm right here. I'm by Disney. I'm close to Disney. I'm like 20 minutes away from Disney. It's in Florida. Oh, dude, that's awesome. I'm definitely going to go to the ALA then. I got to stay more in touch with these events. I know that Florida has, quite a few events. I mean, Orlando's a pretty big convention center city. About time, Ryan. Get your butt up for a garbage plate. Yeah, I've actually never, I feel kind of a little ashamed saying this. I've never had a garbage plate. I went to school up in Albany, upstate. Garbage plates weren't really big over there. I was in Rochester a few years ago for work, and I knew about the garbage plates, and I didn't freaking get one. If you guys don't know what a garbage plate is, it's just where One Fish, Two Fish is from in Rochester. They have this thing where it's just like, it's amazing food. It's drunk food, I think, a lot of the time, but it's sure good sober food too. Ray says, great stream, Ryan. Looking forward to more, my friend. Thanks for hanging out, Ray, the biker aquarist. Awesome local fish friend. We got to go out collecting soon. Now I've got to go to Florida. Yeah, Shar, come on down. You come down, go to Disney, we'll go out collecting. Come to the ALA, whatever it is. Yeah. So ALA is in Sacramento in 2020. Yeah, we got to head out I got to get my butt out there too. There's a lot of cool stuff going on the West Coast for fish. I'll probably end up, going to a lot of the events here in Florida. And like I said, definitely a good chance I'll get up to Aquatic Experience because like I said, it's kind of home for me. If you're coming through DC, holler. Ever collected in the Econ River? Now, that is a great question. Jacob Lovett. I have not collected in Econ River. The Econ River, and I'm going to butcher the long name. It's a river here in Florida. It's called the Econolahachie, but there's an Econ and a little Econ. I have not yet, but I will be soon. I really want to check it out. There's a really cool profiles I follow on Instagram. If you guys aren't checking me out on Instagram, definitely do so. It's just Wild Fish Tanks on Instagram. I post there daily. But there's a really cool set of guys that I follow that do microfishing, which they catch a lot of the fish that we like the native fish that I want to collect. They don't always keep them, but they catch them instead of with nets. They use like fishing lines with like micro hooks and stuff. And they're always on the Econ catching the coolest, craziest stuff. Pygmy sunfish and like sirens and running into all sorts of cool, crazy wildlife. So I don't know if you're local here. Jacob, that's Jacob from freaking, I just realized, is that Jacob from Jacob Lovett? Is that Jacob from the recent video we did? I think that's Jacob the Plant King. Big shout out to Jacob. I'm sorry, man. Big shout out to Jacob. If you haven't seen the Something Fishy tour that was released on Sunday, check it out. Jacob did a freaking amazing job. The dude's knowledge is out of this world. I kind of screwed it up a little bit with some of the audio, and I'm not the best with the mixing the audio. I was trying to reduce the hum, but I think I kind of added a little of the extra background noise. Regardless, a huge shout out to Jacob. He's amazing guy. Knows a ton about plants, a ton about fish. Something Fishy in Oviedo is lucky to have him employed there, and I was lucky to have him in my video. And don't want to spoil anything, but we're hopefully playing another video. Hit me up when you go. There's a launch 2 minutes from my house under a bridge. Oh, dude, come on. Okay, my new best friend. What kind of pygmy sunfish do they have in Florida? Okay. Great question, HC Aqua out there in Hawaii, man. I freaking, I'd love to get out there one day too. So the pygmy sunfish I have is the Ocoee pygmy sunfish. There's also the Evergladii pygmy sunfish, which is known as like the Everglades pygmy sunfish. And then there's the Gilbertii pygmy sunfish, which is a also known as the Gulf Coast pygmy sunfish. So there may be more, but there are three that I know of. That's Ellisoma Gilbertii, Ellisoma Ocoee, and Ellisoma Evergladii. And I believe the one I have is a Ellisoma Ocoee. It's a female. And like I said, tomorrow's video is going to be grindle worms. So you'll see some really cool footage of her chowing down on some grindle worms, because I just think that fish live behavior, or behavior when fish are eating live foods, is awesome. What's up, all? What's up, Fierce Wolf? You're late to the party, but I appreciate you. You hopefully catch the replay here. Yeah, Dance Fish is going on in 5 minutes. Definitely go head over there. I think he is. I think he's going to be giving away a Scarlet Baddis this evening. I think the big question is it a female? Because that's what everybody cares about, right? Is there females? Every time someone's talking about Scarlet Baddis, it's like, dude, can you give me some females? So I don't know if he's giving away a female or not, but if he's giving away a female, I'm going to have to throw my hat in the ring too. But no, definitely go check out Dance Fish. He's a great guy, and he has an amazing haircut, just like me. Ocoee is the cool one. Yeah, Ocoee is cool. My buddy David would disagree. He would say that Gilbertii is king. But listen, man, they're all amazing fish. They're all amazing fish. They're tiny, but they're amazing. Yeah, thanks for answering. Okay, you have one. You have the Evergladii. That's awesome. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. I've been wanting the Ocoee. Well, fingers crossed. If I can collect a male, I will definitely go ahead and breed them, and then hopefully we'll be able to have them on the website and make them available. That would be something I'd be into. I don't think I'll ever collect and then sell them, but if I could breed them and then raise them, and I'll put them on the website, definitely something I'd be interested in. So yeah, I very much appreciate you guys. It looks like it's 8:57, so we're winding down. If you guys have any other last questions, go ahead and shoot them at me right now. If not, just a big thank you to all the mods, Candy, Madfish Diva. Once again, these guys, no one who was a mod here tonight knew they were going to be a mod. I didn't talk with anybody. I didn't say, hey, what's up, guys? Can you mod for me or this and that? I kind of just threw them into it. So my apologies. I just made people mods that I knew I could trust. And I was hoping that a few of you would show up, and you guys showed up in force. So big thank you to all of you. And thank you to everyone who super chatted. Let me see. I haven't even been looking at this freaking stream. I have no idea. Oh my God, there's 75 people in here. I have no idea how many people have ever been in. I've been looking at anything. So big thank you to all the super chatters. I don't know how to see the... I don't want to list them all by names. I'll forget some, but just know, thank you for being here. Thank you for super chatting. Thank you for the comments. I look forward to doing this again, and hopefully see you guys all next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Enjoy Dan's Fish. As always, guys, stay positive and stay passionate.